Hey guys, welcome to this new video. Today we're once again going to interview Ms. Manmeet Dhody, an RCI registered clinical psychologist with an experience of more than 8 years. Her professional and research focus include mental health advocacy and the role of resilience in mental health. Today our topic is going to be about self-esteem and self-image building. Our first question is, when we say those terms, that they seem similar to each other. Is that true, or are they completely independent concepts?
Actually, you're right. They are very much similar. I'll try to put that in perspective by explaining that self-esteem is a bigger term, like more the parent term. Self-esteem has more to do with how an individual basically views themselves, how valuable they find themselves, how worth they find themselves. And self-image is actually the mental imagery of that, how you see yourself mentally. And hence, again, they become very much related to each other because self-image is another way of expressing what self-esteem can be.
So what's the extent of their involvement in adolescence life?
Actually, these concepts stay with you for your entire lifespan, because like we never stop growing or progressing, or we shouldn't. And a part of growing up is definitely got to do with what we think of ourselves. But in adolescence, that focus is sort of pertinent because, like, I'm sure you guys can also relate to it. At this age, you're preparing for life. There are so many experiences that you're having. And at a younger age, I won't say that it becomes easier, but let's say it becomes relatively easier. When you work on these parts of your life sooner, it's better. It makes you stronger, more prepared. And that is why their role during teenage years, during adolescence, has to be focused on, because as you grow older, from teenagers to young adults and adults, you see that these concepts are very much related to health outcomes, how well you do in life. And when I say well, I don't just mean like your careers or how much money you make, but also how happy you are, how healthy you are. And therefore, they're very important to be addressed for adolescents. So I was thinking that maybe I could ask any one of you, or all three of you actually, in the recent, just past few days, the moments where you had to sort of maybe tell yourself, even for like a second, a brief moment, that I can do this, or maybe you found something very challenging. So what sort of a dialogue did you start?
Yeah, I can share. A few days ago when I was playing tennis and I was missing many of my shots, and then I told myself like to calm down and that I could do it. And then I just calmed myself down, and then after that, I would just focus on getting the ball in, and then I started to get my shots back in. So just by telling myself that I can do it, and then telling myself to calm down, I was able to get back on track and hit the balls in.
That's a very, very good and very, I think it's something that we can go back to. I'll try and go back to it as we progress, but this was a very important example. Thank you.
Also, so I can share too. So a few days ago, I was like taking a test for physics, and the test was a little bit challenging and I was having some trouble with the questions. So when I looked at the test, I was like, it's only this amount of questions. It's not that many, I can finish it. So that kind of helped me not stress over it, and it kind of helped me go through the test and without panicking.
Nice, thank you.
I'm in 12th grade and I had my board exams coming up. So I had to prepare for them, do my practice tests and all of that. And I wasn't scoring that well, even after studying so hard. So I just kept telling myself every day before going to sleep and in the morning as well that, I'm going to do it. All of this is going to pay off. So it kind of motivated me, kept on my toes. And yeah, that's something that really helped.
But I think really great examples, guys, but because this really gets to the bottom of it, there's so many moments in life where you actually have to support yourself. We really don't pay attention to it because we think that it was just a second. But both these concepts, self-esteem, because you value yourself, you know your worth, you can tell yourself that, yes, this problem is ahead, like right in front of me, but it doesn't define me. It's my reaction to it that helps me go through with it. It's my reaction that tells me how, talented I am, how strong I am, how resilient I am. So I think, as you go ahead, I think all three of you should continue this practice because they hold a lot of strength
So what are the factors that basically affect them?
Because they are very strongly involved in our lives. Because of that, these phenomena or these attributes of ourselves are affected by mostly, if I put it very bluntly, by everything. So the factors come in from right from, how your childhood has been, the way that your interaction with your parents is, with your relatives, with your friends. Then also, it also has a lot to do with how your personality is, right? There are a lot of factors that you yourself will, sort of use to define yourself, and therefore they will affect your self-esteem and then further on your self-image. As you grow older, the work relationships that you have. So environment, whether it's family, work, with friends, with school, it definitely holds a strong place with the self-esteem as well as self-image. A lot of research has now pointed out how your health affects both of these as well. So, you can imagine even the smallest of incidents where we feel that we've hurt ourselves physically, we slow down, and then it takes us some time to sort of recover, maybe even if it's just like a fever or you got hit by, during a sport activity. So health also has a strong effect.
How can a teenager and or their family build these attributes in themselves?
Here is a good point to again bring back the examples that you three had wonderfully given. And as you see that in all three, you had moments where you self-reflected. So again, self-reflection is really important. Your parents can do that themselves. They can, encourage you to do it, and you yourselves can get involved in it, because you have to take moments of time where you look at what you have done, where you've been. And the best way to do is like have a journal. It's very difficult to keep all this information mentally sorted. So a good idea is to put pen on paper and have a gratitude journal, or you can call it like a sustenance journal. You can call it a strength journal, a pros and cons journal. But writing it out helps in seeing what you could have done better, what you have already accomplished. And in both of these, you really need to strike a balance. That really helps you to realize that, yes, there are certain aspects that you need to work on, but that is a way to add on to your strengths that are definitely present. So that's a great way, a very practical way actually to give yourself that boost. So I hope next time you guys try this. A very important part of developing this sort of a stronger self-esteem and a stronger self-image is also to have goals in your life. Go after them and give it that perspective. Take it in your stride to understand what you need to improve on, what you already have, what you may gain. And again, I would not say have a plan. It's always good to have goals. If it's not achieved, okay, we'll readjust it and put it. And again, these are quite interrelated, but it's always helpful to have these practical steps that you can put in. And like, these are just a few examples, but I'm giving something, that you guys are busy preparing for college, for, your exams. So you can only take like 5 to 10 minutes in a day if possible. And this can also be a family activity. So your parents can do it themselves and encourage you to join them.
So what are some key elements we can remember anytime when we hit lows in our life?
Perfect. This question is, I think, going to summarize this, discussion very well. Like I said, key element, you deal with a failure, you deal with a disappointment, you deal with a difficulty. The first thing is watch out the language that you're using for yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Absolutely be realistic, accept what you have in front of you, but try to find a constructive way to explain that to yourself. The more negative or the more, rude your language is towards yourself, it'll hamper your growth. It brings down your motivation, it spoils your mood. So first things first, watch out for that language. Another important thing to remember is, I would encourage you to read up on this really lovely psychology who researched on the mindset that we have. Her name is Carol Dweck. And maybe, we can have another discussion on her research. And she spoke about how our mindset needs to be flexible. The more flexible your mindset is, they've found that it predicts better and stronger academic results and life results in terms of, success and happiness. So with that mindset of being flexible, what I'm trying to say is that that there is something you could not do, but that's now. You can take it as a new challenge. You can take it as a new level that, okay, let's see, I couldn't do this. Let me see how I do it again, or how well do I do it again? What can I learn out of it? And make it sort of a game of sorts. So first was you look out for your language. You definitely develop a flexible mindset. And again, I'll mention Carol Dweck. Very interesting research, and I'm sure this is the right time for you guys to read up on it.
Thank you so much for all this great advice and helping us learn more about self-esteem and self-image and how they're related to each other and how they're involved in our daily lives. We greatly appreciate the time you spent helping us learn more about this and hope to see you more in future videos. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. All the best.
Of course. You too. Bye.
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 If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon to get a notification when we drop our next video.